And good morning, everyone. It's my great honor to be the speaker today, and I really appreciate your hospitality and kindness. So on this Pet Memorial Day, we come together to reminisce about the pets we had and the memories we share with them. In Buddhism, every sentient being's life is valued and equal. Buddhists do not believe in a God who created the world and empower humans to rule over animals. The Buddha is not a creator. Furthermore, he himself had been different kinds of animals in his past lives: pigeon, elephant, monkey, turtle, deer, snake, etc. Even as an animal, the Buddha, then as a bodhisattva, still strenuously practiced the Dharma and even taught the Dharma to humans. For example, do you know where the Gautama Buddha first preached the Dharma to the 5 monks? It is the Deer Park, Mrigadana. The name Deer Park originates from the story of the Buddha being a deer king in the past. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful deer with colorful skin and a stately build. He led thousands of deer in the forest. They used to live an idyllic life, wandering in nature, drinking water from the stream, and enjoying the abundant meadow pasture, until one day, the human king came hunting in the field. It was a catastrophe. Numerous deer were hunted, killed, and injured every day. The deer king was devastated, so he decided to make a deal with the human king. Yes, animals in Buddhist stories like this can talk. They agree that each day, one deer will voluntarily come to be killed and cooked, so the human king would stop hunting unrestrictedly. One day, it was a pregnant deer's turn to offer her life. So she begged the deer king to give her more days so that she could give birth to her baby. But then who would die early instead? Out of empathy and compassion, the deer king decided to sacrifice himself. When he came to the court, the king was perplexed and asked why he came himself this time. Learning the reason, the human king cried and said, "Even a deer can be compassionate like this. I'm the king of the people, but I relentlessly kill lives just to satisfy my tongue and stomach. Am I less humane than the deer?" From then on, the king became vegetarian and banned anyone from harming the deer in the park. That's the name, Deer Park. Well, I bet your pets cannot talk to you like this way, but we definitely can learn something from them in many other ways. So I used to have a dog when I was 8. His mother was a stray dog fed by the people in my mother's factory. When he and his siblings were born, my family adopted him. My sister and I gave him the name Xiao Mao, which translated as small fur. It was truly amazing to have pets as a kid. You talk to your pets as if they are your real playmates, and it seems like you can communicate. And even though they cannot speak our language, they surely understand our emotions. And I have an unforgettable memory about this. When I was 14, my grandpa passed away. While we were arranging the funeral, my dog suddenly lost a lot of weight and became completely emaciated. I was so shocked because I had never seen him like this. In fact, I remember there is a famous Chinese idiom describing someone as a complete loser, 丧家之犬, which means the dog of a bereaved family. And I finally knew how it makes sense. So our pets can read our emotions. They can make us feel understood, heard, and loved. That's why we love them so deeply, and that's why we're able to build a meaningful relationship with them. My mother liked to say that small fur is my little brother, and because we literally saw him as one of our family members, indispensable. Another thing I learned from him is his ability to love me, even though when I was not being a nice and loving brother. This is a somewhat painful memory for me. It is quite blurry. I don't remember how old I was when this happened. maybe when I was still in primary school. It was in the morning, and I was annoyed by my mom, or I was acting annoyingly as a kid. Anyway, I angrily slammed the door and was ready to walk to school on my own. For some reason, my dog Small was barking beside me. At that moment, I did something that would feel regretful even until now. I kicked him. He howled and ran away from me. I immediately felt so bad about what I just did. I could not control my temper and was venting my anger in such an abusive way toward an innocent dog. I kept thinking about this at school. When I got home in the afternoon, I called him, Small Fur, and he waved his tail, approached me like nothing happened. But I knew something did happen. I came to a new realization of our relationship, and it would never fade away. I was so ashamed of what I had done, and at the same time, feel so grateful for his ability to love me, even when I was not loving. I hugged him and kept saying sorry to him. Sorry, I love you, and thank you. Thanks for teaching me a lesson of love. In Pure Land Buddhism, Amida loves us before we love him, even when we are not loving. He made the 1448 vows specifically to benefit those who lack compassion and wisdom. In the Surangama Sutra, it is said, the Buddhas in the 10 directions have compassion for all living beings and always think of them, like a mother who never ceases thinking of her son. If the son runs away, her thought of him will not help. But if he also thinks of her with the same keenness, they will not be separated in spite of the passing of transmigration. Amida's compassion encompasses all living beings, humans and animals, without any exception. His compassion is immeasurable because he does not have a sense of ego. We start loving because of being egocentric and selfish. The selfish person disregards the feelings of others and oftentimes abuse their power to harm others, as I did to my pet. We often hear saying, hurt people, hurt people. Moreover, in real life, when you get hurt, people cannot let go of the grudges and resentment as easily as animals. Things can get worse and worse, darker and darker. That's why people have emotional cutoffs with family members. And tensions with close friends and colleagues are no less excruciating. I wonder, can't we do better than our pets? To express love before feeling loved, to say sorry after having done wrong, to say thank you for even a tiny little thing. Love, forgiveness, and gratitude. It is these beautiful feelings, emotions that give real meaning to our lives. In fact, what underlies these feelings is relationship with our pets, with other people, and with something higher than ourselves. It is the mutual relationships with others that brighten our life, beautify our lives, and prevent it from being starkly empty and meaningless. So in his famous book, I and Thou, the Jewish philosopher Martin Buber proposes that humans have two attitudes toward life, I and it. It is the world of experiences in which we appropriate, and I and Thou, the world of relations in which we relate to others. As humans, we find meanings in the world of relations. In that sense, relationship is sacred. Interestingly, the ultimate I and thou relation happens only when the egocentric boundaries are dispelled, which is similar to the Buddhist idea of non-self. Thus, when chanting Namo Amida Butsu, we enter the world of relation and share a sacred communion with Amida Buddha. My dog has passed away for over 10 years. When pounding upon our relationship, I can still feel his presence and his being with me. I still remember that day, the last day we were together. He was very frail and weak. I took him to the beach near our house, where we often hung out. Under the light of sunset, we sat together on the beach, speechless and tearful. Today, we come together to say thank you to our pets for accompanying us throughout their whole lives. Thank you for the relationship we share that illuminates our lives. Thank you for your listening. Among those.